And here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the CC and JT Amateur Hour, where production values go tonight. Over there is CC.
And over there's JT.
We have a really big show today. Really big episode today, and boy did we just date ourselves so badly.
That even predates us though, because I don't remember watching Ed Sullivan, do you?
Oh man. So for those of you that are new to our experience, we are a mom and pop shop. Mom and pop podcast. Where it is where we try to help writers write.
Mm-hmm.
We always try to help writers write. We try to come up with ideas. We are working on that success thing. We are making itty bitty baby steps up the stairs, but we are getting there.
Incremental.
It's very slow, very methodical,
tedious.
But we're making it, and we're going to talk about that success today. We're going to talk about the little baby steps. Actually, we made a significant step this week. So
yes, we did.
And it has to do with the bookstore in Reno, to give you a little preview. So we want to just give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
We do have a lot of things to go about. And as I said, if you are new to this experience, we have done over 200 episodes of this podcast that was started many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we received a Women in Podcasting Award, International Award last year, so that was pretty awesome. So we are real, like Steve Martin said in The Jerk. We're real. We exist.
Yes, and related to that, since you mentioned the Podcasting Award, yesterday, I actually think it went up on Friday, but yesterday was International Women's Day, and there was an Elevate and Celebrate event put on by the Women in Podcasting group that presented us that award last year. It was actually a People's Choice Award, but I participated in that event to give our podcast a little bit more visibility. There were 45 women total, including myself. They said 45 powerful women. Some of them were more business women. I guess considering what we're doing now, I'm a bit of a businesswoman too, because I'm considered CEO of our little company. But so we did that yesterday, and I put it out on social media that the video was live on YouTube. So that was a fun thing that we did this past week, or I did.
Okay. So yay for International Women's Day, and especially if you're Wade Wilson, we hope that everybody had a wonderful day yesterday. You don't know, so you don't understand the reference, so don't go there.
Okay.
And so what else happened? So the previous day to that, Friday, was Employee Appreciation Day. So, hello, I'm...
JT is the perpetual employee of the month.
Because I'm the only employee of the month in our little publishing company. But, hey, my award, I am proud of it.
So, yes, we're trying to do things properly here at Two More Books.
So I felt appreciated.
And speaking of appreciating people, today is my dad's birthday.
Yep.
We took him out to lunch yesterday.
Ooh, lobster roll.
One of the local casinos has an oyster bar, which is in a sky bridge over a major road. It was a very interesting perspective.
Yeah,
because I was facing the road, watching the traffic go by underneath us. But my dad is 84 years old today. He's still very stubborn, driving himself around, taking road trips.
Perfectly safe.
Working on his house.
Perfectly safe.
Pretty good for 84 years old.
Yeah.
He has, the normal aging-related health issues, which they're trying to figure out. But happy birthday, Dad. I know you don't watch or listen to anything like this, so but I'm going to say happy birthday anyway.
And, thank you for her. I forgot to mention for International Women's, so read the shirt. Read the shirt.
I never dreamed I'd end up marrying a perfect freaking wife, but here I am living the dream.
Yeah. So, okay,
So, watch the microphone.
Where's my microphone? Oops. Sorry, microphone. Yeah. Okay, let me, I unbutton.
And I think we previously told the story behind that shirt.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway,
watch our previous episodes if you want to hear the story.
So, here, let me talk for a second and see if the microphone is still picking up. Yeah, it is.
Yes, you're fine.
Okay. Okay, so we had a really eventful week. We had another good week, and we always start off with current events. We had a good week, and the significant thing that happened this week is we are now on another bookshelf.
Yep.
And we forgot to bring books along with us. We always forget to bring books along with us.
That's fine.
But two of our books,
Zoe and From Tundra to Tiara.
Is now featured on...
They're at Thistle and Nightshade, which is a small independent bookstore in Northwest Reno. It was really cute little bookstore. So very well done. Kind of tucked away in the back of a little, it's almost like an office building. So it's a little out of the way, but if you are in Reno and you're looking for an independent bookstore, we highly recommend you go check them out.
They have very special personality, very
Yes.
unique personality. It's
Colorful.
which is funny because we went from there to Barnes and Noble, and it's like it's like I felt so much more comfortable in Thistle than I did in Barnes and Noble.
For sure.
It just felt more friendlier. It felt more obviously local writer friendly because, as you pointed out, there was not a local writers table at Barnes & Noble. Didn't there used to be?
I think they used to. They've really pared things down a lot at our local Barnes & Noble. And I've seen some stories recently where apparently Barnes & Noble, in order to remain relevant, is trying to be more like local bookstores. And in some cases, they bought large local bookstores and turned them into Barnes & Nobles. I don't know how I feel about that. But the one here, they've really pared down their selection.
Yeah, but rolling back to Thistle, which
Yes.
is which was
the more important one.
I didn't know what I was expecting, and when we walked in there, it was just that the friendliness and the warmth, the aesthetics, or as they say, the feng shui, was very positive towards reading. A wonderful children's section.
So cute. They had a little mini, like a radio flyer wagon on top of one of the bookshelves. So cute.
So, folks, I'm going to put a link to Thistle into the link. Please click on the link. Please shop there, especially if you're in the Reno, Sparks, Carson City area. Head up to Mae Anne, and then it's right off Mae Anne. It's
It's behind a pizza. There's a pizza place on the other side.
If you're on North Mae Anne and you're heading towards McCarran or in that area there, and you see the Wells Fargo, you're right in the neighborhood. I mean, it's that close. It's worth stopping by. Support local businesses, especially how Thistle is supporting our local business.
Yes.
So we thank the team over there, and I just spaced on their name. Do you remember?
Well, we met Alyx yesterday.
Right.
So Alyx is one of the co-owners, I believe, and I'm afraid I'm blanking on the other person. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so sorry.
But we will put the names in the blog post, and we also have a photo.
Right.
We took a photo of us dropping off the books there with Alyx. So it was like JT said, it was a very friendly environment, very warm. I really liked the ambient lighting in there and the the paint job and everything, because going to a larger bookstore, it's usually a lot of bright fluorescent light and corporate, and every store looks alike no matter where you are. So it's nice to have these more individual looking locations.
And hundreds of books are available for you at Thistle, including 2 of ours. So wonderful. So thank you for taking that on. And as Cece suggested this morning, I'm going to put a list on our book page as to where you can go and visibly visit our books out in the wild. So that's pretty awesome.
3 locations now.
Is it just 3? I don't know why.
We've got the Depot, we've got the State Museum, and we've got Thistle.
Right, and never available for sale there, but they're also available at the Nevada State Library and the Churchill County Library.
Yes.
So that's pretty fun. And we're going to be talking. Well, we might as well talk about now. We migrated our books to Draft to Digital, and one of the main advantages to Draft to Digital is that's where it adds a gateway to places like what's the one you use?
Overdrive.
Yeah, Overdrive.
Yep.
And so what happens is after all those books get migrated over there, all 14 books get migrated over there, I'm going to send emails to all the local libraries and say, hey, here it is. But one of the outlets that Draft to Digital works with is Smashwords. And we did something on Smashwords this week.
Yes, there was a 25% off for ebook reading week. And we don't know if we got any sales that way, but it was funny because it was coming right off of the Zoe sale that JT did for the Zoe release, which was the previous week. So we've been really busy, but this past week, Smashwords very kindly provided us with graphics. And if you follow us on social media, you will have seen the graphics that we put together that include the Smashwords graphics, plus I did a screenshot of the books page, our books page on Smashwords, and put that out there too, so you could see all of the books that we have available.
So we, like I said, we had a week. We had a good week. We had a busy week, and we sort of unofficially for the company anyway. Unofficially for the company said something like, "Well, we're going to dedicate March to creativity."
Yes.
And it's not worked out. But we're going to try again. We're going to try again this week. This week. But we did make advances in our creativity, which is a segue to our current projects.
Yes.
So what's going on with your current projects?
It is coming along, the Virginia City Ghost book that I've been talking about for quite a while now. I am hopeful of having the current revisions done by the end of this month, the end of March. I'm going to hand it back to poor JT again, who this is really not his genre, but he's very kindly reading through it for me to give suggestions. And then it hopefully will go off to our editors in maybe April. So progress is happening, and we have chosen a release date. It's a soft date. We're not announcing it yet, but maybe in the next few months, fingers crossed, it'll actually finally be out in the world and I can move on to another project.
And as for me, I've been working at when I have words. It's a struggle because of the subjects that I picked, but I am working on the third Sheriff in Nevada book, which is, if you were to count the number of ratings on Amazon, is my most popular book.
Yep.
Popular series, I picked a very difficult subject to center this around, and so it's a heavy lift. But the good news is since I reopened it in March, I've added something like 12,000 words on top of the 30,000 words that are already there. So I'm pretty close to the halfway point, if not already there. And so, we're looking at a release date for that later this year, if I can keep the words going. But man, it is tough. It is tough, and also because of the way that I write, I have a lot of things going on all at once, as usual. So that makes it a further complication. And I'm not whining or complaining. I'm just saying that's the writer's mind, and this is a podcast for writers.
Yep.
And I'm sure I am saying, and you are saying, words about the creativity process here that many of our listeners can relate to. It's like, yeah,
very much, I'm sure.
And
we actually forgot to mention a couple of things up in our announcements section.
Oh,
related to writing.
Oh, yeah, we forgot the important things.
Yes.
We forgot the important things. First of all, let's do the not important thing, and then we'll do the big thing.
Okay.
So the not important thing is we are in the process of applying to the Carson City Farmers Market that's held over at Mills Park.
Yes.
And we are hoping that we can appear there once or twice a month while it is open. So. The process of doing it led us to other parts of our business experience that we had not explored yet, which is fine, which is what we're supposed to do. So we are thinking, and we're sort of doing something here that we haven't done in a while. We're planning our next podcast. Our next podcast is going to be talking about overhead.
Yes.
Start doing the writer's overhead. Overhead specifically to doing writing things.
Yes.
We as writers did not anticipate when we started doing the writing. So we're going to be doing the Carson City Farmers Market. And then the big announcement, which I've completely spaced on, sorry, is we met with our colleagues at the Sierra Arts Foundation last Sunday.
Last Sunday.
After we did the podcast last week, and then we went up and I just hit my microphone. Is it still on?
You're fine.
Okay. We met with our colleagues at the Sierra Arts Foundation, next in the building next to the Truckee River.
It's the Riverside Gallery.
The Riverside Gallery. And we announced that 2 more books, our company here is partnering with the Sierra Arts Foundation and the Sierra Arts Literary Community to start a weekly writers podcast for local writers who live in northern Nevada. Now, we're still debating the name of it, but right now it's working its way towards Sierra Nevada Writers. But what we're hoping to do, and we're excited to do, is sit down with our colleagues for 10 or 15 minutes and record about their books, about their writing process, and get it out there, and then produce it produce that episode every Wednesday. Boom, 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 boom. And in doing so, what we're doing is we're uplifting our colleagues and tripling their exposure.
Right.
Because with our partnership with the Sierra Arts Foundation, that gives us 3 platforms to work with. We get the Sierra Arts Foundation platform,
Right.
we get the Two More Books platform, and most importantly, we get the writers platform. So writers who are struggling to get visibility for their books on their social media platforms. Well, here we're opening up a whole new thing, and we're going to be doing like we do for our weekly podcast. We're going to be both doing the video and the audio, and so that's going to be fun.
And we've set up a completely separate page. So the Two More Books page that was already active out there, we haven't been doing much with, will be the location where all of the Sierra Nevada writer, or whatever we call this podcast, that's where those episodes will go up. As you mentioned, they'll also be on YouTube. So if someone wants to watch us, I don't recommend first thing in the morning, but we will be recording them probably once a month. We already have 8 or 9 people who are interested, and the initial interest was overwhelming, really, because everybody clicked on it right away. And as we were making the announcement at the meeting, they were already saying they were interested in participating. So if you followed this podcast, we hope you'll check out that podcast, because it will be very interesting to hear the different experiences of some of the local Nevada authors. And at the beginning, at least, we have offered this to people who are members of the Sierra Arts Foundation. They are people who have their books, hopefully, in the Depot Gallery bookstore already, because we should be recording at the Depot Gallery bookstore, which will be a fun experience. So it will be providing a lot more visibility to a lot of other people. The Sierra Arts Foundation is in partnership with the City of Sparks at the Depot Gallery bookstore. So the City of Sparks may be another outlet to promote this. So we're hoping that tangentially the exposure for all of us will grow together. And this is our way, as JT said, of uplifting each other.
Yeah, we try to, it's easy to get in a mindset as a writer to see what other people are doing when it comes to the writing business. And it's easy to see them as competitors. But as I said at this meeting, we're not competitors, we are colleagues. And as colleagues, we have a duty and responsibility to lift each other up, to highlight the work that other folks are doing. Jackie does local. Jackie does a
Turner.
Wonderful job. And I want to say Jackie Turner, but
yes, Jackie Turner.
Thank you. I got it. Jackie Turner. I'm so bad at names. You should see my name list on my books. So Jackie does a wonderful job of highlighting local writers, supporting local writers, so we're emulating her. So if you are a local writer, if you are a local Nevada writer and want to appear on this podcast, go out to our website at twomorebooks.com, and in the upper left-hand corner, there's a contact us page there. Go ahead and tap on that and say, hey, CC and JT, this is something I'm interested in. Technologically speaking, these are going to be in-person interviews. We are not ready to do internet interviews or video interviews.
We'll probably get there at some point, because part of the reason we're doing this is that we were approached previously by people who wanted to work with us, and we've been trying to work out the technology issues. This is one of the reasons we've gone to lapel mics versus our snowball. So we are gradually trying to improve our production values, where we say where production values go to die. But so far, being a bare bones podcast and not having too much equipment has been working out for us. So we're going to continue to do that. And hopefully, if you do contact us and you're not already a member, check out the Sierra Arts Literary Community.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful community. It meets once a week at the Riverside Gallery, as you said. Once a month. Once a month. We'll be releasing the podcast once a week.
Yes.
The meeting is once a month.
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, these podcasts we're targeting to start in May.
Yes. So we are looking at an initial test run of 8 weeks, 4 in May, 4 in June. And as we said, we already probably have them all booked up. It's going to depend on people's schedules. We are hoping to do the recording sessions once a month. So we will gather a group of authors. We can stagger them so they don't all have to be there for the whole time, but we'll be doing this. It's a whole new test experience for us. So we'll probably come back and talk about it once we've done maybe the first recording session, to let you know how that process is working.
Yeah, it's, and no plan, of course, survives its first implementation. So we'll have to work on this as we go along. But that's normal. We're fine with that. We're prepared to do that. But this is an exciting opportunity for
all of us.
For all of us.
Yes.
And again, if you're a local writer, and we know what an uphill climb marketing is, this is a free opportunity to triple your exposure through the C Arts Foundation and 2 more books. So
yes.
So yay, let's do this.
And we should say that we are not charging. We do not expect anybody to pay us for anything. That's one of the things. Marketing can be very expensive too. So we're hoping to do this organically at as low a cost as possible. So we don't charge a fee. We're going to freely provide the audio and video to both the CR Arts Foundation and the authors. So it's just a completely free collaboration that will hopefully help us grow our visibility and not cost us all a lot more money, because we've already put a lot into our writing.
Yeah, which is kind of a minor segue or diversion to next week's podcast, the overhead. And it's like, man, it just
stacking up.
Death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah.
Well, I think part of the issue is that since we've gone official with our LLC, now our business expenses are separate from our personal expenses. So as we were paying for our editing and things like that, book covers out of our personal account, it didn't look quite as, painful as it does when you have like your small little business account that you've seeded, but there's really nothing coming into it yet. I will say for the first 3 months of the year, we do have income, which is new for us, because last year that wasn't happening.
But we're getting there.
Small income, but the balance. So we'll be talking about that balance.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Overhead. We're going to be talking about that next week, and you will hear a lot from the 2 more books chief fiscal officer, and he's not happy. But you know what? All the fiscal officers I've ever met, they're
never happy.
They're not happy. Okay, let's talk about the fun stuff. Let's talk about the fun stuff, and that's this week's topic, and it's the power of reviews. Reviews for writers. First of all, writers never get enough reviews. We'll just say that,
No.
Good, bad, and different. Writers just never get reviews. So if you have read either of our books and you thinking, I should leave a review, stop the podcast, go do it right now.
It doesn't have to be very long either. You can just say, I enjoyed this book. Can't put it down. Couldn't put it down. Heart can't wait for the next one. Or I hated this book. We're still waiting for that 1-star review. Then it'll give us an opportunity to say, read this stinkering, festering turd of a book that so-and-so gave 1 star. But we want reviews. We want reviews because, and I'm going to repeat this probably 2 or 3 times, feedback makes us better human beings, but especially makes us better writers. So reviews. And what we've started doing with our books is using book sirens. Book sirens. And so what it does is it introduced us to the world of called advanced readers copies. Which I had already known about, but I was looking at another one that we were going to mention here called NetGalley, which is one that a lot of people seem to use, and it is expensive. I mentioned before that, we're not charging people for the podcast. Well, NetGalley, they charge hundreds of dollars for you to upload your book, and then you're charged, I think, a certain amount of money depending on the number of reviews. So Book Sirens is not like NetGalley. And we should explain the entire concept before we jump into the individual companies. And the big concept is you go out to a website, and then with a PDF copy of your book, you put it up. Or you can put an EPUB of the e-version of it, and then you put it to this website, and then what it is either you point readers to it, or the website gathers up readers to look at those, and ideally you do this before your release date, and what it is these readers give you reviews of your book. And I've done it, and we've used Book Sirens because, as CC mentioned, economically speaking, it makes far more sense than NetGalley, because NetGalley is expensive. I'm sure, folks
that have, that are mainstream writers. This is just a
They
cost,
actually have an income.
and it's the cost of doing business, which is fine for them. But for piddly little self-published independent writers, two people who I shall not name, it is way outside our fiscal experience, as the CFO says.
Mm-hmm.
So Book Sirens makes much more sense. And
Right.
for both the two books that I put out there, which was Finding Salvation Part 1,
Mm-hmm.
and for Zoe, I didn't get a humongous amount of reviews, but the reviews that we got, which I thought were fair and thoughtful,
Mm-hmm.
and we got 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star reviews.
Yes.
And all of those reviews, again, were thoughtful and fair. So I thought in that way it was wonderful. People obviously read the books
Mm-hmm.
that were put up there. They didn't just scan them; they actually read them, they digested them, and then they put up, critical thinking type reviews. There was a couple of reviews which I really loved because it was clear that they understood what I was writing and how I was writing it, which I thought was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And even the people that didn't appreciate the books gave thoughtful reasons why
Right.
they didn't think it was a book. One
For
stated
them.
quite clearly that it wasn't their genre.
Yeah.
So, and again, totally fair.
And they made the suggestion that we might want to tweak our keywords because keywords are always tricky. Everybody knows that when you're trying to categorize your book, especially if you're like us, you're independent writers, you're not trying to fit into the really rigid tropes that are so common to traditional publishing. Finding those categories and keywords can be very tricky. So that's what that review said. But also I have to say the one review where the person knew exactly what JT was trying to say in the book, he was so excited when he saw that review because he was like, oh my God, they got it.
It was somebody I don't know, a complete
total
stranger, and
Yep.
they got the book. And by the way, the book was Zoe. And if we're going to talk about keywords, the closest that we've been able to come up with is sci-fi romance. And
Right.
do you know when you go out to put these books up on the platforms, that's not a category? It's kind of a category, but you kind of have to wiggle it in there. But it's
Right.
It's fun, and I probably would have an easier life if I wrote specifically in a genre like the Salvation books.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, straight science fiction, so
Yes.
those are easy.
Yeah.
But when you get to things like Zoe, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of like in there, and even the sheriff books, which is rural law enforcement,
Nevada.
romance, kind of things, small town romance, small town law enforcement, things like that. But you know what? I'm just going to keep writing what I write. So if the categories don't fit,
Well, and that's another thing. If you are tired, just yesterday I think I saw someone post, why is everybody writing the same thing?
Yeah.
You're changing the characters, maybe you're changing the location, but the story is essentially the same. And it's like our stories are a little out there. So if you want something different, look for independent authors because we do have a little bit more freedom to kind of write what we want to write, and it makes it hard to categorize, but if it looks like it might be close to what you like reading, check them out.
Anyway,
not just us.
Yeah, by the way, Hallmark Christmas. But going back to reviews, so reviews, they generate a lot of emotions, as you pointed out, in the writers.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes it's a little difficult to read reviews too for a writer because especially if we had the one range where the person got it and then the folks on the other end of the scale saying I don't understand why this was written, and that one's difficult to read, quite honestly, and it's because of course it's attacking our baby that we spent so much time 9 months gestating and editing and things like that, but reviews. If you are a non-writer, or you are obviously a reader, if you are a reader, reviews are so critical to the business of writing because our books will not get noticed unless there are reviews, and that has happened so many times. That we will put a book out there and it just drops into the ocean like a teardrop, or as the famous thing says, like tears in the rain. The famous quote, tears in the rain.
Yeah.
They disappear like tears in the rain, and it is so challenging to do that. And as a writer, the only thing I can do is just sort of go, okay, back to it. I got to get back to it.
But we will say that using Book Sirens so far has generated enough views that we did get some pre-sales on Zoe, which was really nice. We've done pre-sales in the past where nothing has happened. So we are trying to improve what we're doing. We're trying to, these reviews, and we will say that the books are still up on Book Sirens. So if you want to check them out, go out there. All we're asking in return is an honest review, because the more reviews we get, the better. Yeah. So, as a fellow independent author, if you are watching this, definitely check out Book Sirens, because I think it is a good way to get your foot in there. I'm sure NetGalley, like I said, a lot of people use NetGalley, and they may have a lot more income than we do, so it's not quite as painful. And then I looked into, some people promote that their book has been reviewed by Kirkus Reviews. So people have heard of Kirkus. It's a literary publication, I think, and they also charge quite a bit for reviews. So Book Sirens is a good way to at least ease your way into the advanced review copy world. Yeah, and
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard being a self-published author. I don't have to. That's a given. So, reviews are just bonuses on top of the sale. So if you want to help an independent writer and you don't want to spend a lot of money, first of all, independent writers don't charge a lot for their books in the first place. We really don't.
We try not to.
We try not to. So our ebooks are reasonably priced, and there's sales going on all the time. Once you pick up those books, just put something out there. Not so much a rating, but a review, a written review, if you want to help us out. And again, I'm going to say this again and again and again. Feedback makes us better human beings, and it makes us better writers. If you're seeing something in the writing consistently that you think could see some improvement, stick it in a review, because we read those reviews. Oh my God, do we read those reviews?
Even though we should. And I will say, based on that, I'm sure the authors who have a lot more readership and get a lot more reviews may not have the capacity to read all of them, because it's a time-consuming process. But I'm sure they at least poke in there every once in a while and check out maybe the newest ones. So, a lot of people are advised not to read their reviews, but how can you improve if you don't know what the problems are?
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So reviews are good. Even when they're bad. Reviews are good even when they're bad. So, go out there, and like I said, if you haven't left a review on Zoe or anything like that, and folks, the more reviews you get, the better chance that Zoe or Sheriff will be made into a movie. So,
well, my dream is, I know they're trying to expand filmmaking in Nevada, and something like the Sheriff books, if they want to film in Nevada, there you go. Yeah, it's written about Nevada, so you've got the background. If you get the benefits of coming to film it in this state, then we're putting ourselves out there.
The location of Sheriff is in eastern Nevada, but ironically, the location is based on a town in western Nevada called Tonopah, which I lovingly call the center of the known universe, because Tonopah is a great small Nevada town. It's
so quirky.
It's so quirky. It's so much fun. We've been through and we've stayed in Tonopah. We will never ever stay at the Clown Motel. But
no, if you don't know about the Clown Motel, look it up. There are videos out there. It is quite it's kind of actually scary.
Yeah, but Tonopah is awesome, and I am happy to emulate Tonopah. It's not exactly, of course. No. I take geographical liberties with it, of course, as I'm allowed to do as the writer. But go to Tonopah, and that's our Nye County Tourism Board plug for the day.
There is a big mining museum there. I think it's the Tonopah Mining Park Museum. So if you're interested in mining, actually, I'll be mentioning some mining related things about Virginia City in my book. So if you're at all interested in Nevada history, definitely check out some of the small towns, because they're very interesting.
Especially Tonopah. Okay, I think we're winding down. I think we went through. We actually had a list here. Because we realized that we did have a really big week, and we had to get organized. What did we miss?
Under current projects, we forgot to mention our insane schedule.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so back to the grumpy CFO. And boy, was the grumpy CFO grumpy. Because of overlay of events, we spent more business money, and it doesn't need to be, we don't need to be specific about it, but we ended up spending more money for the business this month and last month because, again, you know,
they were necessary expenses.
Necessary expenses.
Yeah.
So what we had to do is yesterday was a long business meeting. We have business meetings twice a week, and yesterday was especially long. We had to sit down and we had to redo our production schedule because the money was just draining. And we're sorry to keep talking about money because I know that's a trigger thing, but when you're a self-published writer, you have to watch every penny.
Yeah.
We absolutely have to watch every penny. And we're pensioners. You know, what you see
Yep.
is what you get. You know, outside of our very small book income, our main income is our state pension.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to watch it. So we have a book schedule finally set up that we can live with. So we can space out our expenditures, which includes covers, editing, marketing, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the flip side of that is that our book schedule has taken us into 2026, and we're sitting here in March 2025. But it was absolutely necessary in order to sustain the health of the company. God, I sound like such a CFO when I do that.
Well, and the benefit to that for you, the potential readers out there, is that there will be a steady string of books coming from us throughout the rest of 2025 and going into 2026. So, Serving Salvation Book 1 is out. Books 2 and 3 are both with editors right now and will be out later this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Finding Salvation prequel part 1 is out, but the prequels part 2 and 3 are written and will be edited and out by later this
Mm-hmm.
year. There's My Virginia City Ghost Romance, plus potentially books 2 and 3 of Restless Spirits.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about the prequel to Tundra.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing we did yesterday, was we were working on an outline for that. And Maggie Book 3, so that will be the continuation of that series. So going into 2026, if you need some consistent reading material, we have a lot of books out there right now. Check them out because there will be more coming soon that will add to those stories.
Yeah, we've got something. If you go out to our website, please go out to our website, buy from our website, support local artists. We have 14 books. You know, there's a couple of compilations, but it's 14 books on our website, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll be above 20. And so, you know, this is a goal for us, is because we want to keep generating quality product at a reasonable price, at a reasonable publication schedule. So,
plus, we want it to be entertaining, so we're trying to make sure we do the best work possible. There are a couple series out there that are complete. So the Emma Parks series, which is Hope Knocks Twice, Saturday's Child.
Right, correct. And Emma Forgiven.
Emma Forgiven. So those 3 books are out. That series is complete, and there is a compilation, so you can buy 3 books in one.
Right.
The Tucci Chronicles, which is Love and Death on I-80 West and Starting Over in Las Vegas. That is a complete duology at this point. Those are more not safe for work because they do have graphic sex and violence. But if you're into that, at least Starting Over is Nevada-centric as well. Those are also in a compilation called the Tucci Chronicles. So those 2 series are complete. The rest, there will be more coming soon, and we don't know how long those series might end up being. So if you need to be entertained for a while and fresh things coming out, keep an eye on what we're doing.
And please, 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 we understand that financially that you're probably in a bind as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to do ebooks, they're all over the internet now, thanks to Draft to Digital. So whatever your favorite platform is, especially if you're avoiding Amazon, there are so many alternatives, including Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Google Books, and Apple Books, not to mention the several that are associated with Draft to Digital, which I do not have memorized.
I will say that we are also available internationally, so I've started going around and crawling the internet to see what bookstores overseas have us. So if you are not in the United States and you're interested, check those out too. They may be on your local platform.
But our main preference is that you go out to our website, our online bookstore, and you buy the books through there because, well, bluntly, the profit margin is so much greater. And I don't mean I don't mean that in a negative way, but we turn that profit margin right back around and put it back into the business. We are not paying ourselves. We're dropping every penny we can in towards the book. But not only that, it feels more personal, feels more of a relationship that we're setting up with you, and that we will do a nifty little wrap, and we'll send through a little sticker and a little bookmark, and we'll sign these books.
Yeah.
So we'll put a link, of course, to the bookstore in the podcast thing. But and I understand this was a very long commercial, but we are passionate and energetic and really devoted to these energies, and we're also highly caffeinated. Okay.
Well, yeah. If anybody wants to do a coffee partnership.
No kidding.
But one of the things we're looking at, JT mentioned adding stickers. We may be doing a little bit of merch on top of our books. There may be character art coming because I do like sketching. So I have some ideas about doing some character art for both of our books that may eventually show up in our little bookstore. So keep an eye out for that too. And I'm also a bit of a photographer, so I may be doing some Nevada landscape photos.
So we've got some things going. So wander out to our bookstore. And I apologize if this felt like one long commercial, but you can see we have a lot of things going, and we're just so enthusiastic about our company. We're enthusiastic about our books, and we're pretty much enthusiastic about our lives right now. So we're hoping that you're picking up on that, and you're willing to come along with the ride. We're going to let you go now, so you can stop listening to the commercial.
Well, I will say one more thing.
So close. We were so close.
No. This is actually related to the books. So we're not just proud of the books, but we also feel a really strong connection to the characters that we write. And we feel like they're either our friends or our children. So basically, when we are promoting our books, we're promoting our characters, and we want you to meet them. We hope that they become your friends because we feel like they're our friends or our children. So it's not just us saying, hey, look at this book, but it's like, look at this story, look at this world, look at these characters. So
okay. Next week, again, we're going to be talking about the business of writing, self-publishing, and the things that we've learned in the 2.5 months 3 months that we've been an official LLC, and also we're going to be approaching St. Patrick's Day, and St. Patrick's Day, so we'll be talking a little bit about St. Patty, who was not Irish, by the way, which is funny.
He was a Roman Briton.
Yeah, which was funny that way. But until then, sitting across from me is CC.
And across from me is JT.
And we hope that you have a wonderful week, and we hope that you are checking us out and checking out our books and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, take care of y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.